Today is Friday, May the 31st, and as you know, we woke up to the news that the president was going to levy tariffs on Mexico, and that sent the market into a tailspin. What is important to note, however, is that we have support, but we have a gap underneath the close of the market here. So we closed right at this point here. This is just barely above this March 11th gap. Gaps get filled, so I've purchased puts knowing that some point next week this gap is going to be filled. Even though the 200 today proved to be support for the chikou span, it doesn't mean that it's finished yet. We will go lower. We could have gone all the way down to another part where the chikou span got support on the cloud, but fortunately we have another technical event in the way, and that's this gap. So there's a good possibility that next week we move down to a level of 27.43, close that gap, and that might be the impetus for the market to move up. Failing that, we have 27.23, which is a 38.2% Fibonacci retracement from this high to this low. So the last wave that we had, which started back in December 24th and ended May the 1st, has a 38.2% retracement at 28.23, 28.24. So our next target is 27.44, and that's what I bought puts for. And then the next one is going to be 27.23. So with this morning's precipitous drop and then some recovery, I was able to close the long puts that I had purchased, make a profit on those, and then I purchased the same August 19th SPY 264 puts later on in the day, having pocketed profit on the first sweep. So that's where I think we're headed on the S&P. On the weekly, we saw the chikou span get support. It looks like on the top of this cloud, but that's hard to see because of the candle. So I'm going to change the bar settings to high-low close bars. And now we can see the chikou span a little bit better, and it closed a little bit lower on the candle than we could see before. But of course, on the weekly, it also stopped on the 200 daily. So, well, I think we're still headed off this cliff. And we've now got tariff wars with Europe on cars, China on everything, Mexico on everything. There's a good possibility we go down to 26.52. Apple, the charts aren't telling us too much other than we've got a possibility of dropping further. There's nothing on this cloud chart telling us that there's anything good going on for Apple. On the weekly, however, we do see an opportunity next week, which would be here. We could see support a little bit higher, or actually right in line with where we are. We see the chikou span could get support on the cloud back here at 174.94, so 175. So let's hope that Apple has reached some stability and the clouds are calling for support next week right here, 175. Caterpillar, ugly. Gold had a very good week. Look at this. Gold had a tremendous day and had a pretty good week. Let's go back to the other candles. And we had a great week for the gold miners. starting the week at 2038 and finishing at 2156. So we've now finished above. We've cleared through the 8, 50 EMA, 200 EMA, and 50 SMA, and we've broken through all of those in 1 week. That would be a counterplay to the dollar. That means a weakening dollar. T, pretty big drop for a stock that is pulling in a 6% dividend. Don't know what to say about that. It's a 6% dividend stock. It's sort of like a bond. It's not a bond, but it's sort of like a bond. WDC, we could see the lows of 33.87. This stock will do nothing until we end the trade wars with Japan. And Whirlpool, consumer sentiment dropped today unexpectedly and rather by quite a bit. It dropped by 2 or 3 percentage points. So that's, if the consumer is not happy, then the consumer isn't buying Whirlpool products. And we've got, we're down here, which puts the chikou span here. That's the daily. Let's look at the weekly. You know, we're just under the candles. We're under the cloud. I rarely look at the monthly, but if I were to look at the monthly, I'd still be depressed. Whirlpool is a dead stock. So that's it. There's going to be more downside next week. I now am back to my put position that I was at last night, even though I took them off this morning at about 9:35, 9:40. I bought them back around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm prepared on any movement that goes negative on the S&P next week, even by 1/10 of a point. I'm going to be buying more August puts, looking for this level right here, 264.7, 265. So my puts are at 264 in August. We could see that.